It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced white knuckle racing just cross the river on 23rd Avenue. Get over to Joe's today and do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing. 6 days a week, you can race the feared oval track at Joe's Karting, and then 1 day a week during the Malvern Bank Slick Track Series presented by Joe's Karting, you get to race the oval track with the slick tire on the rear tire. Get over to Joe's Karting today, find out what that's all about. It's really cool. They're adding just a little bit more to what's going on over at Joe's Karting. So that way you've got a little bit more opportunities, a little bit different things you could do over at Joe's Karting. Not just racing the road course, you could race the oval also. joeskarting.com for more tickets and information.
And stop by the parts counter to start rebuilding your car for next spring.
Absolutely, and can't say thank you enough to Joe's Karting for sponsoring the show. We got a big show lined up for you today. Turn number 1, we're going to recap the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. Turn number 2, we're going to talk to the bull, Adam Gullion. And then in turn number 3, we have a special guest on the show. Scott Angel is going to swing by, and he's going to talk about the freshly announced Nebraska's Dirt Crown. By the way, I suggest you guys go to Nebraska's Dirt Crown on Facebook and follow along as we're talking about the different information on that. And there's been a lot of information since we had Scott on the show a few weeks back. Getting ready for the big, or just after the big announcement, they've announced a lot more contingency awards, plans, points. So Nebraska's Dirt Crown is where you can go to get that information.
Well, I know one thing that they've added since we talked to him is they announced that Jet Racing is going to sponsor the Hard Charger Award.
Very big one. Very big announcement there. So, a lot of great things going on with Nebraska's Dirt Crown. Scott's going to join us. And then in turn number 4, we're going to get you set for today's race at Martinsville. All right, Dirk, I think we did a lot of hyping of what was going to happen at the Kansas Raceway for the Hollywood Casino 400. Kansas Speedway for the Hollywood Casino 400. You never know what's going to happen in these Cup races. How many times have we watched a great Saturday Xfinity race at the track, but the Cup race ended up turning out to kind of be a little bit of a letdown? Maybe it was a single groove track. Maybe it was an aero-dependent track. Who knows what happened? But either way, just because the race was great on Saturday with the Xfinity Series doesn't necessarily translate into a great Sunday race. But I was thoroughly impressed with the racing action at Kansas Speedway on Sunday with the Cup Series.
Yeah, it was good racing. I mean, as we expected and talked about last week, that we knew Harvick would be fun to watch coming from the 40th starting spot and, making his way to the front, which he did rather rapidly. What we didn't expect was a second-row Brad Keselowski getting bumped out of the playoffs. He was lost all day long.
He was 24 points to the good?
Somewhere around there.
I think Logano was 18
and he was the low 20s. It might have been 22.
Maybe it was just 20.
Yeah, it was something like that. But he just really struggled all day, and it looked like that last yellow was going to be his savings grace because he was 14th. And 3 or 4 points to the good, or 3 points to the good, I think, and then lost 5 or 6 spots on that last restart. And he said, I just couldn't get going. And, that ended up costing him. I think he ended up with a 19th place finish on the day. Your pole sitter went straight to the back and ended up in a crash. Your outside front row was over a lap down. I mean, it was, the goers were going backwards at a fairly rapid pace.
A lot of different lap leaders. Denny Hamlin ended up leading the most laps on the day. 53 laps led. He ended up 8th in stage 1, winning stage 2, and won the day. Joey Logano won stage number 1, and that was a big win for him. The caution came out with about 6 laps to go in that stage, and we were having the conversation of who's going to come to pit road, who's going to do what. I believe Kyle Larson was leading the race. I was on the side of stay out and do whatever you can to try to win those stage points because that's going to carry you into the next round, or those are going to carry with you into the next round. Joey Logano ended up staying out with 2 other cars. He was able to get by, wins the stage, and that is essentially the reason why he moved on, and he was able to get into the next round. He was able to leapfrog his teammate Brad Keselowski, who at the end of the day ended up getting eliminated.
Well, yeah, but he leapfrogged Brad by quite a margin. And everything he did there, he gave back later in the race when he had that spin down in the grass. So,
which I think was even more important for him to go out there and lead that lap. I mean, he ended up finishing 17th on the day, and he gets those 10 extra points, which moves him point-wise up higher to 28 points above the cut line.
Well, and he was the one that had to do that. You like you said, if you were Larson, you would have stayed out. And I really wasn't sure what anybody was going to do. I figured there's going to be a whole bunch of different pit strategy here because everybody that pitted there with just a couple laps to go in that first stage was not going to have to pit at the break. So they were going to be right back up front. But, they couldn't get to the front in that couple laps they had.
Yeah.
So Logano was able to hang on.
And I think the most exciting point in the race, I can't believe they did it either. Coming to that green flag, coming out of turn 2, they were 5 wide, 3 wide, and 4 wide all throughout the field. There was so many comers and goers, and that track was so wide at that time. I couldn't even begin to explain to people. I don't think you can line 5 cars up from the yellow line to the wall at Kansas, especially at speed. I mean, obviously they were going below the white line and just making whatever line they could to get around.
Yeah, that's just it. Technically at Kansas there is no yellow line. And I'll bet you could line 7 cars up between the wall and that yellow line. That track's a lot wider, but when you just line them up sitting there, that's not going 170 miles an hour, 180 miles an hour. So it's a totally different deal. But the guys, there were guys. Daniel Suarez was the one that was trying to take it, 5, 6 wide because he was trying to get to the front and kind of be a little spoiler out there. And that's where the equalizer comes in, is those guys. But they were able to do it. And if it would have been later in the race, you notice the last couple restarts when they had the 2 overtimes, nobody did that.
Yeah.
They stayed a little more controlled because, I would have thought that would have happened at the end of the race and it'd have been a big pile up going into 3 because the guys wouldn't have cared. Nobody would have wanted to live.
Yeah. A great race nonetheless. If you missed out, on some beautiful weather. Really, really got lucky on Sunday. On Saturday, too. Friday was a little bit chilly and breezy, but Saturday was gorgeous. Sunday was tolerable. Great day at the track. And the other thing I think was a great sign was I think this was the best crowd we've seen in a couple of years for that October race.
Yeah, the crowd was good. And it wasn't because of any gimmick. They just, people came out and decided to see the race. And I think one thing that did help it was the fact that the Chiefs played on Thursday night. So there was no football game for anybody to go to or sit home and watch for the hometown team. I really think that helped that crowd.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think that the May race helped because it was an exciting May race. We've seen some races there where, Martin Truex Jr. gets the lead out of turn 2 and goes and leads 200 and some odd laps. 267 total laps on the day. We went into overtime for this race, but Martin Truex Jr. would go out there and lead. What did he lead that one day? 235, 240? I mean, just a ridiculous amount of laps.
Yeah, he's done that several times, and actually, he led some laps the other day. I'm not sure if Eric Jones led any laps, and I'm not sure if Kyle Busch ever got to the front. But there for a while, those Gibbs cars, 3 of them were in the top 5 for a lot of that race the other day. And when I mentioned Eric Jones, that did remind me that he was the only one that got any penalty. He had a lug nut violation after the race. Everything else was good and tech.
To answer your question there, no, neither of them led a lap, although they finished 3rd for Kyle Busch and 7th for Eric Jones. Like we mentioned, Denny Hamlin ended up winning the day. Chase Elliott skims by on just narrowly makes it into the next round, just barely eliminating Brad Keselowski. Kyle Busch ends up finishing 3rd. Kurt Busch, first of the non-playoff contenders of the finishers. He finishes 4th on the day. William Byron finishes 5th. Martin Truex Jr. 6th. Eric Jones 7th. Clint Bowyer 8th. Kevin Harvick 9th. And Jimmy Johnson your top 10. Bad days for
Brad Keselowski.
Yeah. Ryan Newman involved in an accident early, I believe in stage 1. And then Joey Gase involved in an accident with Kyle Larson. Ends up ruining his day. Our buddy Landon Castle, 37th on the day. Bubba Wallace, hard contact. Stage 2 is when that happened. He ended up hitting the outside wall, bouncing to the inside, slamming to the inside wall, and his day came to a close in 35th. Worst playoff finisher, Ryan Blaney. Didn't matter because he was locked into the round after his win last weekend at Talladega. The previous weekend at Talladega. Like we mentioned, Brad Keselowski 19th. He was one of the cars eliminated. Joey Logano finished 17th. He moved on. And then Kyle Larson finished 14th on the day. Alex Bowman, another car that was eliminated, finished 11th. I believe William Byron was the third car to get eliminated, and Clint Boyer was the fourth car to get eliminated. So those were the 4 drivers that got eliminated. There were some big-time drivers that were on the verge of being eliminated, and like we kind of touched on, it kind of felt to me like it was going to be Chase Elliott, but then all of a sudden Brad Keselowski was the one that's flipped out, and his points race is over with for the year.
Well, I'd said before, I think there's been a Hendrick driver in the top 8 every year, and Chase Elliott kept that alive.
Great racing action, can't say it enough. Next year when these tickets become available, I highly suggest you make the 2.5-hour trip south if you're in the Omaha area. If you're listening outside of the area, get down to Kansas Speedway. It's such an awesome weekend. We have so much fun when we go down there. And we get the rare experience of getting hot passes to go into the garage, and you can experience close to that. Sundays during the Cup days, get the fan walk when you get your tickets, and you'll get an amazing experience while you're down there. And
the motels have finally got this figured out that if they raise their rates, people aren't going to show up. So the motels, I know my brother went down and he stayed 2 nights, and I think he said he spent $170 for 2 nights in the motels, where they were getting that for a Motel 8 for 1 night before. I don't remember where he stayed, but he won't stay in a dump. So, and I know we just pay a little over $100 a night for the Quality Inn, don't we?
Yep, about $125 I think is what we pay tonight.
So, you know, the
and we've got a hotel up in Platte City that we really enjoy. Nice people, independently owned, with the Quality Inn franchise, good breakfast. Internet
place
service is great. Yeah, we like that place.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're going to stay at. So if you need a room down there, try and book it early. Just don't take ours.
Thanks again to Kansas Speedway for helping us bring the front stretch for so many weeks, and for doing the contest with us too. I think our winners really got to experience a lot with Rick Ware Racing. I was really impressed with their willingness to allow the contestants to get involved. I know Joey got to help push the car around. He sat on the pit road during the introductions and the national anthem, and hung out with the team and kind of really learned a lot. It was a great experience. Everything we kind of hoped it would be is what Rick Ware Racing gave us the opportunity for.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're hoping for every time we do this contest, and this one kind of came together a little later than what we'd like, but it still ended up all right. And,
I'm a little thinner on top because of that. I lost a little bit of hair because of that whole stressful week and a half that we were waiting for a team to approve us. But anyways, those will be coming around again. You know what? We'll do our next one for the May race down in Kansas. We'll do one for the Iowa race in July, and then we do another one for the October race in Kansas. So if you guys haven't gotten involved in that, I highly suggest you send us an email, frontstretchradio@gmail.com. And by the way, thanks to Rick Havenridge, a great fan of the show, great supporter of the show, for presenting those. He makes it possible for us to do that contest for free.
Yeah, and he happened to be hanging around with us at the right time. We got him introduced to a few people that he'd never met before, and we always praise his efforts when we do that.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in turn number 2. We're going to sit down with the Bull, Adam Gullion. He's going to talk about his 2019 season. Then we'll come back and we'll talk with Scott Angel of Nebraska's Dirt Crown to talk about exactly what's going on with that. Don't forget Nebraska's Dirt Crown on Facebook to follow along as we're talking with Scott. They've got much more they have announced since we talked to Scott, so get the latest on their Facebook page. Then we'll come back in turn number 4, get you set for today's race at Martinsville. We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the front stretch.
Red Oak Fabrication is excited to announce they're expanding their powder coating business, which means quicker turnaround times at the same great price. Get all the benefits of a powder coated chassis for just $275 for a bare frame. Ask Jordan about special pricing for large and small projects today. Email jordanf@redoakfabrication.com. Located at the intersection of Highway 34 and 48 in Red Oak, Iowa, or at redoakfabrication.com. A beautiful and durable service is just down the road.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Just about ready to do another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Don't forget, it's going to be them chilly fall months. Also, make sure you lock up on all of your Carhartt gear by going to Red Oak Fabrication in Red Oak, Iowa, redoakfabrication.com/Carhartt.
You could get some front stretch swag on Carhartt.
Adam Gullion joining us.
Not my fault.
Driver of the 91 JV. I'm blaming it on you, though.
That's fine. My wife does it all the time.
Yeah, but she's a sweet lady.
I know.
Sarah keeps waiting.
I'm not sure why she married me.
None of us really are.
Really bad lapse of judgment. But
We
hey,
all
it worked
have
out good
yeah.
for me.
I'll win 1-0, bitches.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting year for you. When you came on the show during the Precise Racing Products Open House, very confident about your season. You'd switch engine manufacturers. You felt like that was going to be the last key to get you over the hurdle. But I think there was some other circumstances that kind of held you back, and I'm gonna lean on the incident that happened back in May with Justin and the rest of your crew. I think that might have weighed on you a little bit more.
Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, I think the last time I was on here, I made the statement that the person that won the points championship the last few times was not going to win again, and he didn't. So at least I thought it was going to be me, but at least I was right. So I'll take that. But yeah, Justin and Mike are doing good. Justin obviously had a little bit longer of a road for recovery, but Mike's recovery wasn't easy either. He's a little bit older. Even as I get older, I don't bounce back like I used to. But Justin's back at work. I don't know how, but he's as normal as he was before.
Yeah, I talked to you that night. We were coming back from the spring race at Kansas Speedway. I'm getting text messages while I'm driving up I-29 at hyper speeds that something happened at Eagle, something's going on at Eagle, and I'd heard that it was your crew involved. Probably wasn't the smart thing to do, but I called you because I wanted to get it right from the horse's mouth. And the only thing you said to me, I said, "What's going on?" You said, "I think I just watched my crew member die."
Yeah, in fact, when we got to him, he was dead. When they got to him when he was under Shane's car, he wasn't alive. They had to give him a couple chest compressions and a couple breaths, and then he started breathing again on his own. I wasn't really sure. I mean, you don't think the worst. You try not to. When stuff like that happens, it's hard not to. But I've known him for a long time. I mean, he's a really, really, really tough guy, which he's obviously proved. But I didn't really, for the lack of a better word, my pants and think that I lost my best friend until the sheriff showed up and said it was a crime scene. I know enough that when the sheriff shows up with something like that, that's not good.
At that point, they had transported him to the hospital.
He had just left in the ambulance. I was working on getting Mike transported into the ambulance also. As soon as we got Mike in, we loaded the car, locked the gate, we were backing out, and the head guy of the fire and safety crew stopped me. Said they couldn't leave, that it was a crime scene, and they had to take pictures of the car. Immediately, I knew exactly what that meant. I asked, I don't know, maybe a dozen times if Justin was dead. Nobody would answer me. I finally got my point across.
Let me just say, most people, when they say that, they voice their frustration. I can imagine there was some gestures, four-letter words,
I
and
picked a
probably
very
some spit.
large guy up that's much larger than me and threw him against my trailer for him to answer me. But I got my answer. He was still alive. But I didn't find out until later that they were pretty certain that he wasn't going to make it to Eagle, which is like, a mile, 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah.
They didn't think he was going to make it to Eagle. He made it to Eagle. They thought for sure there was no way he'd make it to Bryan West. Made it to Bryan West, and then when they all dropped him off and got into the ambulance and were debriefing and talking, if all of them would have been betting people and bought lottery tickets, they would have placed all their money that he wasn't going to make it to the morning, and he did. Every step was another step. There was another step that was new challenges, and he's surpassed everything with flying colors faster than we all thought he would.
Yeah, that's something that's amazing.
It was incredible.
Yeah,
it was.
I mean, you talk about
totally
miracles that you don't believe in miracles until they happen to you. The guy was cleared to go back to work 3 months after he had a freaking AMOD laying on top of him.
On top of his head, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a religious person. I always joke that I knew that there was a God and it wasn't me. That was as far as my religion went. And I'm still not a very religious person either, but when things like that happen to you, it's kind of hard not to recognize something that's obviously has a little more control than we do. So I wear a cross around my neck every day now. I haven't taken it off since, and I won't. Still believe that there is a God. It ain't me, but I'm not. I'm not reading the Bible now. I'm not doing anything like that. I think you can be religious or spiritual and religious without attending church every day. I believe in God a lot more now than I did before. So everything happens for a reason. I think we learned, all of us that were involved in that, I think kind of learned a lot. That they built the wall. They built the wall at Eagle coming off longer.
Extended it, yeah.
I still don't think that's. I still don't think that's the fix all. I've been to a lot of racetracks since, and now things that I never noticed before, like the exit of racetracks, I notice now. There's a lot of, I think not Dodge City, but Wheatland. I just went to Wheatland to race the Jesse Hockett Memorial and Butch Bates car. They have the best exit to a racetrack that I've ever seen. McCool Junctions is pretty good now also, but that also came from a tragedy too, or tragic accident.
Yeah.
Ty Jensen got really injured. Could have very easily lost his life, but we all learned from it, made improvements, and made it better, and it's better today than it was then. So I still think that there's things that Eagle could do, but every good idea, there's also a bad idea to it. So there's a good and a bad to everything. Obviously, all ideas and changes cost money, so that's that. Always have to worry about the cost of everything as a business owner.
And sometimes safety slows down efficiency.
It does.
And I think that's one thing that Eagle prides itself on is the efficiency. It's set up to be an incredibly efficient track to get
it
all of
wasn't
its
real
races
efficient
done.
the night that he got hurt when we were waiting on a life flight. So I get the efficiency thing, but at some point you need to take a little more stock in the people that come out every weekend.
At what cost?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I never really thought about this before, but on my way out to Eagle this year for the Nationals for pre-inspection, he rode with me in the semi, and it was, and I never thought about this stuff before. So I mean, it has changed me, but how close I was to not having him go with me, how close I was to losing, one of my best friends. So there's things that I think we could do that I don't think there's enough stock in our safety. And I know that the fire crew, obviously they have a lot of stock in our safety. And I know that we need the fans, but we also need the drivers. We also need the crews. We all need each other. I think that there could be a little more thought and a little more value put into making sure that the people that come out to put the show on are able to come out and put the show on again the following week. I would pay for it. I would help. I would do what I needed to do it. I mean, it is what it is. But, I don't know the track. So.
Well, and one thing that's eerie about all this you're talking about, when we sat down out at Precise back in March, we sat with, I think Stan was there, and we had Chad and Stu. And we did a little round table deal on track safety.
Yeah.
And talking about being more proactive instead of reactive. Go back to NASCAR in 2001. They made you wear Hans after Dale Earnhardt died.
Yep.
And
they
on and on.
implemented
And
the
on.
safety
it's not the first one. It
barriers.
won't be the last.
The safety barriers, I think, were actually starting to be implemented before Dale actually got killed. But it was at smaller tracks like Darlington, Bristol, stuff like that.
And it wasn't until after Kyle Busch broke his leg at Daytona that NASCAR mandated all the tracks put safety barriers along the entire raceway.
Right.
Not
Inside
just,
and out.
Not just the
Outside.
most likely impactful areas. It had to be everywhere.
Well, and to me, the bad part about the guardrail setup is, believe me, it's better than nothing. But I don't care who you are. Your first thought, you're coming up that chute flat out, and you can't stop. The first thought's not to hit that guardrail. It's to miss it.
Yeah.
Well, he left the air. He left the ground. He was in air. He almost cleared it. So, I mean, at that point, he was along for the ride.
Well,
the car was driving him, but I'm pretty sure the entire heat race, the car was driving him too, but not at that speed.
That was one thing I'd heard, is that he almost cleared the guardrail.
He all but did.
He was going so fast that hill, actually, he ramped completely off of it and almost cleared the guardrail.
Yep, he all but did.
Well, it's amazing to think, and I mean, I've obviously got very close friends to me. I can only imagine how much that weighed on you. Because I know that you're the kind of a guy that you take responsibility for that.
I did.
While some people, and I don't think this is a bad way of thinking, would think, you know what, they're the ones that signed up, they're the ones that wanted to come in the pits and help me. But you're carrying that guilt of bringing him into the pits and being your crew member that night.
If I didn't race, he wouldn't have been there.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's always that. But I'm glad he's doing better. I'm grateful he is. I'm not sure how he didn't lose his life, but I'm glad he didn't. We did, like I said, we did learn some stuff. Like you said, the difference of being proactive and reactive, I think we could be a little more reactive so that this doesn't happen again, especially since it's the third time someone's been hit by a race car at Eagle in like the last, 6 years?
Roughly, yeah.
So
Two
obviously
since
it's an habitual crime, or it's habitual offenders. So we need to do something. I don't think we've been proactive enough. Hopefully they will now. My guess is they probably won't be. They think what we've done is enough. And like I said, I don't own the racetrack. I don't make those decisions and don't have to answer for them. But
June 29th.
June 29th, I
you
won.
You parked it.
Yep.
Finally, officially put it in victory lane.
Yep.
They couldn't find anything.
Pass tech.
Yep.
You made it through victory lane. Is that the most special win for you?
Yeah, probably.
Because you've been trying all season since it happened in May, since Justin got hurt in May.
Yeah.
You've been trying to put it in victory lane. Excuse me.
I mean, I want to put it in victory lane every night, but obviously after that happened, sure.
You presented the check.
Right. And I gave the check to Justin. It was special.
You gave the big printed one, not the actual race check.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other one doesn't go through the drive-through. But yeah, we gave him that one. And honestly, it's the first time I've ever given one away. Those are hard to come by at Eagle Raceway. The next guy coming on is Chad Cook. I think he can attest to the talent level and the competition level that we have at Eagle Raceway is pretty big. The talent pool is deep. So to get a win at Eagle Raceway are really hard to come by. So, you keep stuff like that. Because each time you win, you never know. I mean, the older you get, I know I'm only 33, but you never know if that's going to be the last time you win.
God, you're only 33?
Yeah, I feel way older than that, though.
Oh, you got, how many kids?
Two? Only two.
Going on 3?
No, only 2.
No,
They run around like
Unless
6.
I'm adopting you, I still only have 2 kids. But
that's an option?
If I can deduct you on taxes, yes. It was special for me.
I come with cats.
Cats?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Never mind.
I adopted him a few years ago.
Oh.
He thinks he's done with me now, but he's not.
I got a feeling you're not done. Yeah, I know.
We'll talk some more.
Yeah,
Off mic.
We'll see. All right, so 91. Been running the JV. That's obviously in honor of Justin, who we've talked extensively about tonight, and nearly every time you've been on.
Yeah, we'll be back to 91 next year.
Okay, a good season for you. I think a frustrating season though, to where you did pick up a win. You didn't pick up near enough wins as you would like to when you start a season.
No, never. We usually win 3 or 4 a year. This year we only won 2, but we were up against quite a few hurdles. Although we were pretty confident in our engine package, it was still something new that we had to learn. And not like that wasn't a big enough curveball. I bought a different car this year, and it was different than anybody else had in the country.
Different car, different chassis.
Different car, same manufacturer. They'll bury me in a Maxim as far as I'm concerned. They're the best car on the planet, most consistent car on the planet. So, but yeah, I mean, so we had to figure that out. And early on, when the track was slicker, we were better than most. And we were really, really competitive early. And then as the track changed, we kind of chased it a little bit. But, I wrecked, so the car was different. And the engine was different, so we fought fueling and header stuff and stuff like that. But, yeah, there was a lot of hurdles that we had over 2019. 2020 will be my last year at Eagle Raceway full-time.
Really?
Yeah, I will not be at Eagle full-time after this.
How come you're coming back for one more year?
I'm going to go after a points championship. As far as I'm concerned, in a sprint car, I've done most everything in Nebraska there is, to do. I haven't won the Speedy Bill Memorial or stuff like that, but I don't run 360 stuff anymore. But I've been competitive and won races at every level I've ever raced at. But I'm old enough now. I have a couple businesses now. I have a couple kids. And I know...
About to have a third. Me.
I grew up
about me.
Yeah, okay. So I grew up at the racetrack every weekend. And although I enjoyed it, I think that there's some more things that I can offer my kids than, the next dirt hole that their dad goes every weekend. Will I still race? Yeah. Will I race full-time? No. Will I race 305s? Uncertain right now.
Because you're also racing the 360s and you have a 410.
Well, we do some. We were fortunate enough to do some 360 stuff this year. Butch Bade And the Bait Racing team, Shaylee and Mariah and Chantel and Michelle, they were fortunate enough to give me the opportunity to race their car at I-80, which was not very good, but it was our first time out. It was a little premature. We probably should have spent some more time on the car going through it, but then we went out at Eagle, and we were better. And then went through the car some more and changed some more stuff, got a little more comfortable, and went to Wheatland. Had really high hopes for Wheatland because everybody has really said how slick it is and black it gets, and that's really our bread and butter. That's our forte. That's when I really get excited, is when the track gets slick. Because the best of the best rise to the top when it's slick. Anybody can race when it's heavy. It's still hard, but it doesn't take as much skill as it does when it's slick.
But that being said, going to a race like Wheatland, like the Hockett McMillan Memorial, 70 360 cars, probably arguably one of the best 360 fields in the nation. I
agree.
You find out where you're at in the pecking order, and you go, hey.
But
we just missed by a couple spots
Thursday night, we were second quick overall after hot laps. Friday night, we were fourth. And Saturday, we were fifth overall quick in a talent of 73 cars, the best of the best in the country. Yeah. If you look at the results where everybody started, that's where they finished, within a spot. But when the track would get slick, when we finally got to our B feature, that's when we would actually charge forward. I think there was one night we started like 13th and ran a fourth. They took two. And then the next night, I think we started like 11th or 14th or 15th, or it was towards the back, and we ran fifth. And then the last night, it was we went through like a 2-hour rain delay, and I was looking at, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and we just get done with our qualifier, and I'm like, I'm going to be buried in a bee. It's going to be 1 o'clock. Then I got a 4.5-hour drive home. I got a business I need to run tomorrow. I got kids that I haven't seen in 3 or 4 days. So we decided to we kind of talked as a team and packed up and went home. But we would have started third row out in the B. But
so did that kind of rekindle your desire to maybe move up and run the other classes a little bit?
Yes and no. The desire to compete at that level is never
left.
Never left.
Right.
By the way, if you want to know if you want to know Adam's desire to compete at the 360 level, go back to Front Stretch 2016.
Yeah, I think that's when I told Roger he was ruined racing or something like that.
It wasn't Roger. It was French
Grimes.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway.
There's
I ate crow then too.
YouTube clicks
I
in.
ate crow then too.
There's good and bad.
There is.
And you did. And you did, and to your credit, you admitted that fact that there is pro and con to both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, we need both. We do.
Most definitely. And at some point in time, it's actually going to work itself out, I think, to where they're both going to benefit each other.
Yeah. Okay, so, I do want to run 360s, and that's what I would like to go and do. Ultimately, I'd actually like to run 410s.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd want to run 410s if the money was there.
Far. That shouldn't even be legal to drive.
You've got a lot more roofs to sell.
Oh, that was a lot more roofs to sell.
By the way, contact preciseroofing.com.
Yeah, Precise Roofing, LLC, yeah. But I own a trucking company, too, so it's either I need to buy more trucks or sell more roofs to go race 410s.
You're going to need to do both and get a third in company.
Yeah, well,
the money to run a 410 is just ridiculous right now.
It's the tires.
Is it? I thought it was the engines.
No, the engines aren't cheap.
I think it's engine maintenance more than anything else.
Tires. You're $260 or $70 for a right rear if you are going to run a 410 at a competitive level, Knoxville, World of Outlaws, you need a new set of tires every time you hit the racetrack because they won't last. They'll blow apart.
Yeah.
I tried that. It didn't go well. I blew a right rear going into 3. Killed my wing, header, radius rod, shock, wheel.
Header?
Killed the right side header. Killed it. Yep. Almost pinched it shut. Yeah. Shock, radius rod, wheel. It screwed
as
up
a guy who knows nothing about race cars, how the F does a tire kill a header?
Just smashed it. It shreds
140 mile an hour. It whips it.
Well, that makes me even more nervous passing a semi in the interstate with my window down.
Right. Yeah. That's what I would ultimately like to do, but not feasible. There was for a long time I wanted to do this a little more serious, which I do pretty serious now anyway. But I wanted to do it a little more serious and maybe try and figure out a way to sustain a living out of it.
Big picture.
Right. That's no longer feasible. I actually get more enjoyment spending time with my kids than I do at the racetrack. And I really enjoy it when my kids can come to the racetrack with me, which is really only. I wouldn't allow it at the Nationals this year, obviously, with what we went through with Justin. But when we went to other racetracks, they were able to come with me, and I really, really enjoy that. But which is another thing that's I want to go do some other stuff. There's more to life. There's more to the world than Eagle Raceway or Columbus or some dirt hole that their dad raced at. So, I mean, there's the Grand Canyon, which obviously is a dirt hole, too.
You're welcome.
Right. You know what I mean?
But you say that, though, and then, to me, I look at like the Kaziski family. That's all they've known.
Well, right. The family that races together stays together. But
they've raised an amazing group of people.
They have. And that works for them.
Yeah.
But you don't know this because you don't have any kids, but
I have cats.
You have cats. That's not the same.
The same.
You want more and you want better than what you had. And
Yeah.
I had a good life. I've enjoyed my life and still enjoy my life. But my wife loves to travel, and the last 12 years of her life has pretty much been revolved around me and racing. And now her life and my kids' life is revolved around me and racing.
But she came from a racing background
She
also.
did.
She
knew what she was getting into.
Yeah.
And I think looking at you, that weighs on you, too, is that you know that she wants to go do other things, and you feel like you're holding your kids back from...
She wants to do them both.
You need to just travel to further racetracks.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes, yeah. But even then,
it's cheaper to just fly to Mexico, go to Chichen Itza.
it's more fun.
Yeah.
And don't drink the water.
Well, don't tell me
I
that.
can drink all the time in Mexico.
Let me tell you, in Mexico, when they tell you the bus leaves at 2:10, the bus leaves at 2:10.
Right, yeah.
And you get left at Chichen Itza 2.5 hours away from your resort.
Well, you didn't go to the right place because when I go on vacation, there is no time. It's island time.
Well,
and
I got my
watch don't
girlfriend
exist.
that wants to go to things and see things. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. And I think Chad's falling asleep over there.
We've been sidetracked since
Yeah,
this
so
interview started.
I want to do some. I want the opportunity to offer my children something more. If they want to
Barrett's
race,
your son, right?
Yeah.
Has he expressed any interest in racing yet?
Yeah. He loves it, and that's fine. Everybody's always said, well, when's he going to start racing? Do you want him to race? I don't really care. I don't care. If he wants to race, that's fine. That's great. I'll support him. If he wants to, no matter what he wants to do, I just want him to want to be the best at it.
Yeah.
If he wants to shovel at the circus, he better be the best shoveler that's ever walked this earth. So,
I don't have a marker button.
Yeah,
No,
whatever
I
he
gotta
wants to
listen
do,
to
I
him
just
again.
want him to be the best at it.
Yeah.
So you're going to send him to shoveling school?
Stop it.
I mean, whatever he wants to do. I mean, if he wants to shovel, if he wants
Stop
to
it.
be an announcer at Eagle Raceway, if he wants to race at Eagle, I mean, whatever he wants to
They
do.
might have an opening.
Hopefully, he doesn't want to shovel. But
Stop it.
whatever he wants to do, as
can't
long as he
work
wants to
this.
be the best, that's all I care about. Whatever it is.
Adam Gullion
You're
driving
gonna
the...
get
I'm
you're
getting
going to get
kicked
that
off
impact wrench.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
going to get big use.
note to anybody coming, all you have to say is shovel 37 times, and then you'll get kicked off.
What's the record, 8 or 12?
Yeah, it was
13?
somewhere like that. Jeff Ike did a whole
When are
bunch.
you going to get married?
He's not. Yeah.
Why is he not?
Sydney's right,
Why-
because Sydney wants me to not.
I need to talk to your girlfriend. If you're going to give me a hard time about having more kids,
She's got
You
4
need to get
years
married.
of schooling before we consider
what does she want to be?
event. So you want to talk about being in debt as a race car driver?
You obviously missed on Facebook where she
Try in
shamed him.
vitro.
That's a good point.
You missed on Facebook where she shamed him. That 3
That's
weeks
not
ago.
hard. That's
She
not hard to
burnt
do.
Me hard.
We got one more
She
feature
got
to
me
do yet
really
this
good.
year.
She got me really good that
One
night.
more.
He
I'm
never
not
saw
going.
that.
I
you're
sold.
not going?
No, I sold my cars already.
Oh, you're not going?
I ordered new. I sold the 2 cars I had. I sold them, and I ordered brand new ones.
So did you? Yeah, that's the
I
other-
really wanted to go to the Jason Johnson Classic with the Outlaws the
Yeah.
19th, because I know at all the wrecks that I've seen and people like I didn't like it when Hodnett got killed. Hodnett was a hell of a nice guy, and super smart, but I know what Jack's meant to Jason, because I know what my little boy means to me. And now having a son, I know, I know how much my father means to me, so I can only imagine,
Yeah.
So when Jason lost his life, and they, that really bothered me for a while. But now they're doing the Classic at Lake Ozark Speedway, and as soon as I heard that was coming out, that's been on my schedule from day one. But I sold my cars now, so I think I want to still be a part of it. I want to be there. I want to see the first one. So I'm going to go and watch it. I rented a lake house, a VRBO lake house stuff, so we're going to take a bunch of people down and go watch it. But I at least want to, I want to witness it and pay my respect and tribute to him. So, but yeah, I'm not going to the I-80 race. I'll take the $250 and sit at home. It'll be the one time I make money at a racetrack this year.
Don't say that now.
And
they're few and far between. You got to take them when you can.
There's an easy way to lose that money.
And it might rain, and if it rains, you even come out better.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam,
at least I won't be shoveling.
Adam Gullion, driver of the number
we know of.
91 JV. Final time on the front stretch.
Oh, final now? Perfect.
You know you're never going to get banned. Well, I shouldn't say that. I could never say you're never going to get banned from the show because
I just don't understand why everybody wants to beat. Everybody will beat me up about things, and now we bring up Stan's issue. You're like, oh no, let's change the subject. Like, isn't that?
Because I don't want him to quit either.
He's not going to quit.
I know.
He's not going to quit.
I'm hoping so, but I need time for him to get there.
He's not going to quit. He's no different than the rest of us. It's what we do.
Adam Gullion Racing on Facebook. Do you have any more races this year? Or you said you sold your equipment. You're done.
What's your idea?
You're selling all the race cars.
Mm-hmm.
Come drive the 47.
Settle down a little bit.
Be an announcer.
No.
By the racetrack.
I tried once.
Buy Eagle do it again.
Tried once.
I heard he's more closer to the table this time.
He had once. No, I'll wait until it goes to auction.
I don't want you to wait that long.
I don't think it will. I mean, he's out. I mean, everybody gives that guy a lot of, I got to give him some credit. Everybody gives him a hard time, but he's obviously a pretty smart businessman. So, he's been promoter of the year, once or twice or something like that?
National
right.
Once, but I think regional a couple times.
Right. So, I mean, that's for a reason. The stands are always packed. There's always a ton of people running around in the pits. So he does do a really good job. It's easy to criticize. It's no different. It's easy for us to criticize him. No different than it is everybody in the grandstands that has a beer in their hand to criticize me. So, but you got to at least be respectful and give compliments where they're due.
Dan and I might have even been criticized on occasion.
But Stan could tell me this, though. This year, you've gotten a lot more fans on your side, though.
You do.
I mean,
I think
it's gotten a lot
louder.
And
Justin gives me a hard time about that. He's like, man, if I'd have known all I had to do was boost your fan count and get hit by a race car, I'd have done that a long time ago.
I think it's directly related to the nickname, the Bull.
Yeah, but they don't ever get the second part of that name.
Yeah. The bad part about it is
I won't say it, Dan. I won't say it.
If they can count them from the booth, there's still not that many.
We can count that high.
Yeah.
It's definitely louder. I think there was a couple of times it was rivaling probably Grossenbacher, if not maybe a half of Shaley Bates cheer
he's got a big
section.
Yeah.
All right, Adam Gullion, thanks again for going incredibly long. Finish your vodka and Red Bull. Enjoy your night. Thanks for coming out to Quaker Steak.
But we have fun.
Yeah, and that's why I still do it. It's still fun.
And now you know what happened to Stan.
When it quits being fun, then
quit.
What?
You quit.
I don't know. I'm thinking about a pontoon boat. I don't know. Maybe a vacation house.
That's too slow for you.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's the other part. Like, what are you going to do when you quit racing? I guess get fat. I don't know what else. I won't do anything else.
I guess you didn't wait. We're going to be back on the front stretch.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back into the front stretch. Just about ready to do another Red Oak Fabrication interview. Don't forget, Carhartt is available in Red Oak, Iowa at an affordable price. Go to redoakfabrication.com/Carhartt for monthly specials and pictures of their inventory. It's not just hunting and gear for guys working outside. There's also some great ladies apparel and some awesome kids apparel so that your kids can be warm and look good. redoakfabrication.com/Carhartt. Joining us on the show now, Scott Angel, who has been a big supporter of the Front Stretch for a long time. Scott, I was even thinking about it the other day. You're the one that threw the graphic together for the very first Walk Down Sunset Lane.
Yeah, that was kind of a really cool project to work on.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, you reached out, and we were able to throw that together for you. It's just cool to reminisce about some of the old times like that and see things like that really it's still that way today.
Yeah.
And we need to get back to the grassroots of stuff like that.
I think there's somewhere in this room, by the way, we're at Quaker Steak and Lube. Somewhere in this room is one of those flyers that's autographed by all the guys. Did you ever get one? Did you keep one?
I never got one, no.
I've got some extra ones back home. If you come to the Homestead party, I'll get you one.
We'll check it out. Yeah,
they're
for
all
sure.
signed by the drivers, so we've got like 5 or 6 of them left.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and especially since unfortunately some of them have passed on now.
Yes.
But that's just the way life works. But I appreciate all the support you've shown the Front Stretch over the years, and you've got a big thing that just got announced: the Nebraska Dirt Crown. First off, what the hell is this?
Well, it's an idea that's been stored away, lock and key, for a little while, and the right people came along, and last month has been something we've worked real hard to get this put together. Nebraska Dirt Crown, we're going to do a spring tour starting on March 26th, and we're going to hit 4 racetracks in 4 days in Nebraska, featuring modifieds, the sport mods, and stock cars. Modifieds, we're going to throw out $2,500 each night.
Wow.
So really a guy could walk out $10,000 in 4 days. We want top level racers here. We have a lot of them in Nebraska anyways, so come on, boys, let's bring it on.
You're saying Jordan Grabowski's going to be $10,000 richer beginning of April next year?
No. We have guys already that have talked to us, some from Arizona, from California.
Really?
We've talked to several guys in Iowa already. So, yeah, Jordan's going to try to defend his home turf, but I don't think Jordan's going to have,
it's not going to be an
easy run for him.
Yeah. It never usually is in the modified class. I always do like watching them because they race so close, and it's hard to see just how precise they can be and how even really a lot of them are.
Oh, yeah, with the crate engines, it's kind of crazy how precise they are and how close they really do race. 85, 95 mile an hour wheel to wheel within inches of each other. I don't think we can do that down the interstate, to be honest with you.
I've tried it. They're not very happy with me when I do that.
Believe me, Dan has tried.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're really not a fan of me bump drafting them, but
there you go.
And once again, Scott Angel of Nebraska Dirt Crown. How can people follow along as we're talking about this? You guys have a Raceway page?
We've reached out to over 20,000 people, and they've interacted with us and have left comments, and we appreciate everybody's feedback. And we're just looking to get back to the racers and the fans, and this is really for the racers. The things that we've heard already from the racers is a lot of Nebraska guys, they've wanted this, they've needed this. The support that we've got from Jordan Grabowski, Johnny Sadoff, Kelly Shyrock, Shane Hyatt, those guys has all been supportive of this deal, trying to get it rolling with us. So,
yeah.
Is it going to be just those 3 classes standalone those nights, so it's going to be probably a midweek type show, or?
What we plan on doing is we want to do a Thursday night. We're going to start at US 30 Speedway for some Thursday Night Thunder. We're going to head to Beatrice on Friday. Saturday, we're going to head back to I-80, and then we're going to round out at Deschler on Sunday at the Thayer County Speedway. We want these guys to come. We are going to do the 3 classes. The reason being, a lot of guys this morning have already commented on hobby stocks and things like that, and it's like, if this is any bit successful out of the 3 classes, to say we have 140 cars is not going to be out of the question. Hopefully we have more than that. I want more than that. You don't ever want to sell yourself short, but if we can have 130, 140 cars, it's going to be hard to add another class of 30 or 40 cars and still put on a show where the fans are entertained and they don't want to go home early.
So you're going to cap it at 300 entries per class, right?
300 entries per class. I'll put a cap on it at that point. If we run into that problem, man, I'd love to have that.
I can understand the fans where they wanted to see the hobby stocks, or maybe they wanted to see the sport compacts, so they want another class, but I like your approach to it. You're going to start off on 3 classes, and you're going to grow slowly. you don't want to bite off more than you could chew and end up compromising the quality of the show.
We want a premium race that is going to be high quality. We've talked to many promoters, and we've got the Ford locked in. Right now, it looks like I'm going to let everybody in the grandstands for $12.
Wow.
So this is a deal where it's going to be family friendly. Many giveaways, not only for the racers, contingencies, a points fund. We've not even mentioned that yet. We're going to do tons of giveaways for just people in the grandstands. We want everybody to come, have a good time, enjoy the racing, not only just the modified guys that want to come up and race. Sport mods, $2,000 to win. Stock car guys, that class is something that you don't ever want to miss. Sometimes that's the best class you can ever watch is the stock cars.
I love the stock cars.
And we're going to do $1,500 for those guys to start, or to win, I'm sorry. So 3 big classes. The fans are not going to be disappointed. We want to show in and out, run smoothly, quick and easy, and just get things done.
Nebraska's Dirt Crown. Search for it on Facebook. That'll give you all the information. You can message the page. I messaged you guys the morning you announced it, and you guys got right back to me with scheduling an interview, so I do appreciate that, the quick turnaround time on that. But like you said, you guys have absolutely, in a good way, opened up a hornet's nest where it's nice to see some momentum moving forward for the dirt racing community on a time when we're typically shutting things down.
Yeah, it's really generated a lot of excitement. Some of the messages this morning were all good. Of course, you're going to get a few naysayers here and there wanting different things, and we've really tried to keep the racetracks, the racers in mind. Dakota has their tour, Iowa has their tour, Kansas, they get a couple days in a row. So we want to give that to the guys here in Nebraska, and we invite everybody to come and challenge them.
It's tough to answer this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Granddaddy big scheme, where do you want this to go?
Honestly, we want to pull this 4-day deal off very successfully, and I want to show the guys that have asked for some love, the hobby stock guys and things like that, some of the racetracks that were kind of maybe taken off guard that we didn't include them in this. Before the end of the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see a Dirt Crown Summer Series.
Yeah.
And in the future, maybe it is an SLMR type of deal to where we can take the modifieds and stock cars and some sport mods and around, and guys don't want to race weekly or can't race weekly. We understand with kids and things like that, it gets tough. And maybe we can put together a 15, 20 night schedule and make it something that they can pick out their dates and go.
We're talking with Scott Angel of T-Sign Shop.
Back in the day when the Busch All-Star Tour started, I think 1984, it was modifieds and late models. And that's all that ran on that show. And I don't care where you went, and they ran 21, 22, 23 races all over the place. That's all that was there.
It's interesting you bring up the Busch All-Star Tour. One of them posters surfaced this week, and you see the names of Joe Koziski, Steve Koziski, Bob Hill, some of those names on there, and it's really an inspiration of what we want. I mean, we want to be there. We want to provide that poster of the stars to the young race fans and get them involved, and they're hanging up in their bedroom and go on from there.
Hey, if you need a guy to design a poster, I know somebody.
Somebody.
I can help you. Yeah,
maybe
I know
we
a guy
can
who
get
can
his
help you.
number.
Yeah. He'll lend you his flash drive.
You've had Shane Stutzman on here and Ryan Jenkins, and it's interesting to see because Shane's the guy that I watched as I grew up as a race car driver, and then you bring in Devin and Ryan, and those are kids that I watched grow up in racing, and so how cool would it be to be able to provide that for those guys, that hero status to all the young racers, and honestly, that's what we need. We need the young race fans back involved, the families back involved in racing. So
yeah. Modifieds are racing for $2,500 to win, as you talked about. $250 to start each main event. Sport mods are racing for $2,000 to win with $200 to start, and stock cars $1,500 to win with $150 to start. That's a big purse each and every night.
If you put the numbers down on paper, it's actually kind of scary, but I can guarantee you we're already on the ground working hard as hard as we can right now and trying to secure sponsors and backing to make this deal go. It's really overwhelming with the support we've already gotten. And everybody out there that's supporting this deal, I thank you. If you don't know about it, definitely reach out to us, let us know. We can answer questions, like I said. So we look to hit the ground running, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be very exciting.
You get Grabo behind you and Sadoff behind you and a couple of those guys, you're not going to have any problems grabbing some sponsors.
It's interesting, you mentioned some of those names, and And obviously we've been in contact with those guys as we've put this together, and a lot of those guys really see the need for this. This morning my phone's blowing up with guys that didn't know about this, and they're saying, how cool this is. You got guys in Arizona that say, this is where I'm going to be in March. Beatrice races beginning of March. There's a couple races after us. And so really it gives those guys an opportunity if they want to come back here for a month and stay, instead of going south in the wintertime, come north in the springtime and let's go racing.
How about a thank you to the speedways, the tracks that are going to help you out on this?
Yeah, definitely. Bobby Lincoln and his crew at US 30 Speedway, they were one of the charter members that we sat down with. Great to have their support, their staff, Angie and Sam and everybody there. We went up to the Abe Lincoln Memorial Race, and that was a great show. Top to bottom, 2, 3, 4 wide racing. That's what we want on our tour, and man, they really sold it to us in that track that night, and that's something that we want. Joe Kaziski, we can't thank Joe enough. I mean, Joe's been behind this deal the whole way. He's helped us with a lot of our questions. As anybody that's starting green in this deal, you have questions, and Joe Kaziski's been a great mentor in it. The whole Beatrice Speedway and their staff, Derek Fralin, those guys have been awesome to work with. And then we got the guys in Deschler. They're eager to get racing again. It's a racetrack where it used to be a Sunday night deal and had great shows, and some of the best guys in the nation were always there on Sunday nights. You go back to Chris Elkhorn and Greg Metz and Johnny Sadoff and Jordan Grabowski's, Mike Heidemann's back in the day, Dave Tronick. Great racing top to bottom there. Those guys are excited to be on board. It's just phenomenal to have Thayer County Speedway, Beatrice Speedway, I-80 Speedway, and then US 30. Everybody's excited and everybody's on board, and it's only going to be an exciting winter, let's say that.
Yeah, the worst part is now we got to wait 4 or 5 months for this to finally happen.
It is. It's going to be awesome because, we're not going to let the excitement die. We're not going to let you guys forget it, that's for sure.
Good.
It's going to be in your face, and we're going to be a lot of places. I don't know if anybody wants to go to Vegas, but I think a trip to Vegas to promote this deal. You know what? I think we probably would. Let's go. We can maybe make a couple days out of it. And
I'll get the taxi cab fees while we're in Vegas.
I don't know. Booked in Vegas in December. When are you going?
I don't know if you want to do the taxi cab fees in Vegas.
That's a good point.
I'm already booked in Vegas. When are you going?
I want to go for the race November. I think it's the 12th. That's when the mods head out there.
Middle of December. So
no, we plan on being at PRI in December and really working with the vendors so that we can have the best contingencies. We're going to have one of the best shows that the racers and fans all want, so it's all going to be here for you.
Scott Angel of D Sign Shop now decided to put on a promoter hat. He is now going to be heading up the Nebraska Dirt Crown. Who else is working with you on this?
Robbie Marsh. Robbie's a guy who you go back 10 years and was in a stock car and won a lot of races, was in a modified, won a lot of races. And I think the last time Robbie drove something, he was in a hobby stock and raced some of these guys. He's got 4 kids and stepped away from racing and decided that he wanted to get back into racing. And he looked at what it cost to race anymore and said, maybe not. I can't dedicate the time to working on a race car all summer long, being a farmer and having my kids in sports and things like that. So he came to me with this idea, and I said, Rob, this is something that I've had in mind for 5-6 years. So let's run with it and let's get this done.
The tour kicks off March 26th to 2020, Thursday night at US 30 Speedway. It heads to Beatrice on Friday the 27th.
Yeah, 26th, and then the 27th, the 28th will go to I-80, and then we'll round out 29th at Deschler.
All right, big news coming. Make sure you follow Nebraska Dirt Crown on Facebook. We'll share all the information, and pencil us in for March. When is the auto show? It's usually that first or second week of March, right?
Usually second weekend of March.
Pencil us in, come in down, and we'll get you on the show one last time and get everybody ready to go. It'll be just a couple of weeks till that show finally.
That would be awesome. We appreciate it.
Scott Angel, man, thanks for swinging down. Appreciate you coming out of Quaker Steak. Are you going to do the Triple Atomic Challenge?
I'm out on that.
You get a free front stretch hat if you do.
I get a free hat. I'll pay for a hat, I think.
All right, $25.
All right. Hey, it just went up.
We'll be back on the front stretch.
Thank you.
As summer winds wind down, those chilly nights at the racetrack are just around the turn. Stay warm while looking good, cheering on your favorite driver with Carhartt from Red Oak Fabrication. Since 1889, Carhartt has proven their mettle battle, from the trenches of World War I to the toughest job sites today. Browse the large selection at the Red Oak Fabrications Carhartt store and get $5 off pants until September 29th. RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt or at the corner of North 3rd and East Grimes in Red Oak.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you white knuckle racing by the river bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Welcome back to the front stretch, rolling into turn number 4, just about ready to wrap this baby up. Brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. Got to say a big thank you to Quaker Steak and Lube for letting us come down on Tuesday nights and interview all the drivers that we've had on over the last couple of weeks. Big thank you to Quaker Steak and Lube for supporting the front stretch all these years. Dirk, the big race coming up this weekend. It is race number 1 in the round of 8. 8 drivers remain in the 2019 playoffs. And we go from the big 1.5 miles of Kansas Speedway to the short track, bumper bending, tempers flaring Martinsville Speedway.
That is the place that they're going to... One guy is going to be very happy when that race is over. And if history has anything to do with it, it could very well be a 2-race winning streak for that 11 of Denny Hamlin.
He was strong there, this race?
He's strong there every year.
2 years ago was when
the last
he
couple of years, his pits have just killed him because he gets those speeding penalties.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he has really cleaned that up this year. He's done a very good job this year compared to what he'd done the last couple of years. But that's what's killed him there was his pit speeding penalties. He's got a lot of wins there. It'd be kind of interesting if it came down to the end with him and Chase Elliott again.
Was it 2 years ago at this race he moved Chase Elliott for the race win?
That's correct.
Last year, Joey Logano ended up picking up the win. That was October last year at Martinsville Speedway. Denny Hamlin came home second, Martin Truex Jr. in third, Kyle Busch in fourth, Brad Keselowski, who is now eliminated with a top 5 finish, Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Ryan Newman, Daniel Suarez, and Kevin Harvick, your top 10s. Bad days, Kyle Larson finished 37th. By the way, Kyle Larson, who I am strongly hoping makes it to the round of 4. Not a very good shot there. Kyle has struggled at Martinsville. He really does like those wide open tracks where he can run on the high side.
He doesn't like the rhythm tracks, plain and simple. That's all Martinsville is. I'm going to hold the gas pedal down for 3 seconds, and I'm going to stab the brakes and turn it left and hope it turns.
Yep. Kyle Larson, 37th on the day. Austin Dillon, 30th on the day. Eric Jones, 26th. Clint Boyer, 21st. Ryan Blaney, who is another one of the playoff contenders, finished 20th last year at this race last year. Denny Hamlin won stage 1. Joey Logano won stage number 2 and picked up the race win. So that's your results from this race, 2018 at Martinsville Speedway. Let me pull up the race earlier this year for Martinsville. Just the 6th race on the year. Early in the season, a lot has changed since then, but Brad Keselowski picked up the race win. Chase Elliott came home in 2nd, Kyle Busch in 3rd, Ryan Blaney in 4th, and Denny Hamlin with a nice top 5 finish. Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Almirola, and Daniel Suarez, your top 10.
And as Brad Keselowski was trying to go for a sweep at Kansas Speedway also last week, now he's going to attempt to do a sweep at Martinsville, but you could see exactly how much the track had changed from the spring race to the fall race at Kansas. And you can expect that same thing at Martinsville, but I do know after reading some stuff that Brad put out the last couple of days right after the Kansas loss that he is very determined to win 2 of these last 4 races.
And it's always a scary thing. There's a couple of drivers that I get a little nervous about when they're determined. Kyle Busch is at the top of my list. When he's determined, you better bet on him because he's going to figure out a way to get it done. Kevin Harvick is one of those guys, and Brad Keselowski is another one of those guys.
Yeah, he's a little upset that he's not in the final 8. He let that get away from him. He knows it was his fault when he blew the last restart. He's manning up. You know, he's not blaming it on anybody. He's owning it. But he is definitely going to try and own Martinsville, and he is going to try and own Texas. But we'll see what happens.
Get your picks in on time for the Quaker Steak and Lube 5-week contest. You can also make sure you get your picks in on time for the season-long contest. Both of those contests presented by Rick Havenridge of Wealth Partners. And today's race at Martinsville picks are due by 2 o'clock. Coverage is on NBC and MRN. And Dirk, we're getting down to the last of it. Just a couple more weeks before the season wraps up. And we'll be having our season-ending party at Quaker Steak and Lube, which, by the way, we recorded tonight's Turn 4 at Quaker Steak and Lube. But we'll be doing that homestead viewing party November 17th at Quaker Steak and Lube. Find out more information, facebook.com/thefrontstretch. Go to our events page and get all the information there. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that came out to the Quaker Steak and Lube recording session. We'll do it again this coming Tuesday night. Shelby County Speedway track champions and a few of the regulars on the bill. Follow us on Facebook for more information about who's going to join us and what time they're scheduled for. For Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. This has been The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590.
The official watering hole of The Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95, and the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around the professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.